Yo guys, what's up? It's Bursnator from Bursnator Fitness Designs, and I have a great video for you today. That was actually a question from one of my clients that I thought would be a good one to share with you guys. So this client was doing very, very high reps in weightlifting, and his reason for doing so was that he wanted to get that toned Hollywood look and not get that big bodybuilder look with that extra puffy muscle. So this is actually like a huge misconception. Most people who first get into fitness kind of feel that way, especially true with women who don't want to gain too much muscle and look like a bodybuilder. So there's a couple things I want to break down with this that are going to help you and might not be what you've heard, but they're really helpful for achieving that toned look much more easily than doing the high reps. So there's two things I want to talk about. The first one is about fat and muscle and how they work. So fat can either get bigger or smaller. Muscle can either get bigger or smaller. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's not a lot of shaping that goes along. There's some proportion as far as like which muscles you're working more. If women don't want huge upper bodies, then they should be doing a lot more leg work and a lot less upper body work. Men probably don't want huge legs. They're probably looking for just some moderate amount of muscle in their legs and bigger muscle up here in their shoulder area. So there's the whole proportionate thing. As far as in the individual muscle, there's a little bit of research showing that if you're hitting it at different angles, you can kind of get a little bit of a different shape from the muscle growth. But that's not really 100% proven, and it's still kind of like, it's not going to have a big effect on your results for what we're talking about as far as getting that toned look anyway. But besides the proportion, besides the muscle and everything, it's all about the getting bigger and smaller for your muscle and for your fat. So if you're looking for the toned look, you pretty much want to have a moderate amount of muscle and a low amount of body fat. And that's going to give you that cut and chiseled look. And of course, like I said, you want that muscle to be proportionate. If you were a woman looking for the toned look, you can either be going for more of an athletic look that's a little bit bigger, in which case you'd have a little bit more muscle, or you can go for more of that thinner model type of look, which means that you want a little bit less muscle. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be weightlifting, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be lifting heavy, because you should, which brings me to my next point. About neural tone. So neural tone is basically the electrical impulses that get sent to your muscle at rest. So at all times, your brain's sending electricity to your muscles, and that electricity is determining the state of contraction that muscle is in. So when you lift a weight, your brain's sending a ton of electricity to push that weight up and lift it. But even at rest, there's a certain amount of electricity going to it, and that determines how contracted, how hard the muscle is when you're just sitting here doing nothing. So if you were to touch the traps of like a professional weightlifter who's lifting heavy weight all the time, they're going to be rock hard because he's lifting that heavy weight. That's the way to improve neural tone, is by using heavy weight for low reps. So putting this all together, if you want to get the toned look, the fastest and most efficient way to do that is to do weightlifting for heavy weight and low reps, and then use your diet and maybe some cardio if you want to cut calories down and cut your fat down and get that ripped look. That's going to cause your muscles to have that high neural tone. It's going to build a small amount of muscle mass or a moderate amount of muscle mass, but you're not getting the volume you need to really get to maximize your muscle. So you're just getting the right amount of actual growth with a right amount of neural tone, low body fat, so you get that chiseled look. That's what you're going for, okay? Now for women, same thing. If you're lifting heavy, you're not going to be growing tons and tons of muscle. You're going to be growing the right amount, and then if you combine that with your diet and maybe your cardio, then you're going to lose that fat and you're going to get the shape. Now, like I said, there's also the proportions. You want to make sure that you're working the muscles in the way that actually is in line with your goals. So if you're a woman that's not looking to get like the big shoulders, then don't do a whole ton of upper body weightlifting. Minimize that. Just leave it to like a couple sets on one or two exercises or something like that. But for men, you probably want to hit your legs for a moderate amount, but then really hammer in on like chest and back and traps and stuff like that, so you get a little bit more size there. But all in all, you're still sticking to that lower reps. Now, if you were to expand your rep range and you were start to get stronger in the low and the medium and the high reps, that's more of a bodybuilder style training. That's going to maximize your muscle growth, and you're going to get a bigger look. Okay, so if you're going for the toned look, make sure you stick to heavier weight for lower reps, and then let diet and cardio be the things that kind of start the fat loss. If you're doing high reps, you're pretty much doing two things. You're training your muscles in order to do high reps, and you're burning calories. That's kind of about it. you're not really getting a much aesthetic benefit from doing the high reps like that. And I'm talking about like super high reps, like 15 and above. Everything else is below that can cause muscle growth, and the lowest rep ranges where you're really getting that strength benefit is where you're going to get the most neural tone. So hopefully that all made sense. Hopefully that worked for you. Again, let that kind of roll over in your head a couple times. Think about it and watch this video again if you need to. If you have any questions that you'd like to shoot my way, I'd be glad to answer them in a video. So feel free to do that. That's all for today. I'm going to go hang out and read a book or something. So I'll see you in a little bit.